I'm an addict. My name's Gar. All right. Okay, looks like we're going here, and I'm going to try to share my screen here. But hey, before I get started, I wanted to say thank you very much to the Greater San Jose Area H&I Subcommittee for hosting today's virtual barbecue. What an awesome event. These are strange times, and what a great solution. Thank you, Demetrius, for getting us rolling. Thank you, Terry, for sharing your experience, strength, and hope. Mark L., thank you so much for an awesome show. I remember many, many years ago when I first got clean and I thought that my life was over, that it was going to be terrible and I'd never laugh again. Then I went to my first Mark L. show and found out we can have laughter, we can have joy, we can have happiness and recovery. All righty, let me try to share my screen here. Oh, David, you got to let me share my screen. Okay, let's give that a shot here. I'm still working on it. Third time's the charm, and we got it. Okay, guys. Again, my name is Gar, and I'm an addict, and wanted to talk to you a little bit about H&I and PI and how we work together. All right. So, first off, let's get the thing working. There we go. Welcome, everybody. I'm glad you all took some time out of your busy Saturday to spend a couple of hours. Let's talk just a little bit about what our friends in H&I do. First off, all of our service in NA is shaped by our traditions. Our traditions are the ties that bind us together. We all know that our common welfare should come first and that personal recovery depends on NA unity. Tradition 9 tells us that we should never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve, and H&I and PI are good examples of those two traditions working together. So what is an H&I meeting? What does an H&I do besides hold fantastic virtual barbecues? H&I carries the message of recovery to people that couldn't normally get out to a meeting. We do it here in San Jose extensively in some of our local lockups, some of our lockdown psychiatric facilities, some of our recovery houses and the like. Outside the area, some of our members visit longer term facilities. We had some great examples from San Quentin, from Soledad, and some other places. And we'll talk a little bit about our service structure. H&I itself, it's a service committee answerable to our area service committee. Again, we hold meetings at hospitals, treatment centers, correctional facilities, adolescent facilities. By the way, I'll happily go into our county jail. I'll happily go into one of our state prisons. I get real nervous when I go into juvenile hall, you know. Kids, the young guy, you know, guys and gals, they're super smart and I'm old and slow and it just makes me nervous going in there. Rather than being an NA group, it's important that an H&I meeting always be conducted under the auspices of our H&I subcommittee. H&I establishes some guidelines, some do's and don'ts about how to convey a meeting in the manner that we've agreed that we'd like to do it for our area. So H&I is a great way for a lot of members to give back, especially those that have spent a little time in a facility, whether it's a correctional facility, a hospital, or an institution or otherwise, to give back. Sometimes it's not really easy to gain access to these facilities. I know personally, when I first applied to get clearance, I made an omission on my form, or at least the department that oversaw clearances at the time said I made an omission. And you know what? I'm a dope addict from way back, and I learned one thing: don't give up. You know, if the dealer was out, I'd go to the next dealer. I'd keep trying until I got what I needed. I had to go back. I had to write a letter. I had to appear in person for an interview. I had to explain why I apparently checked the wrong box on a form. And eventually, I was able to gain access to our facilities. A commitment to H&I isn't always easy, but it's probably one of the most rewarding service opportunities that you'll experience in recovery. So what do we know about addiction? Where does addiction lead us? Jails, institutions, and death. And by the way, thank you to my wife for helping me kind of spruce up and update this, this presentation. The photo in the presentation right now, that depicts the Los Angeles County Jail, one of the largest county jails in the country. And I don't know about you guys, but I look at that and that is not in any way, shape, or form attractive to me. I've been to our Santa Clara County version of that, and I really don't want to go back. So our NA, our primary purpose is to carry the message of recovery to the still suffering addict, right? And it's a little bit more difficult when we talk about going into hospitals and institutions, but carrying that message into hospitals and institutions rightfully should be one of our top priorities. And that's how we support that primary purpose, is by forming these committees around the world. So I'm going to give you some just quick facts and figures. These were sort of our pre-COVID-19 figures, because obviously most facilities we can't go in directly now. Before COVID, we brought over 20 meetings a week to those people that couldn't get into meetings. For a lot of you on the call today, that was your very, very first exposure to recovery, right? There wasn't, I don't know about you guys, but there wasn't a lot of recovery being talked about in the dope houses that I used to go to. And so many of you probably saw it for the first time in an H&I meeting. Most of our local members started their meeting, or pardon me, started their recovery at an H&I meeting. Additionally, we support addicts through the Working the Steps with Inmates program. And I apologize, this morning I've been working on the link on the site. We recently updated our area website, and I've noticed that the link is down. I'm working to get that fixed and hope to have that done by the end of today. So how does public information fit into this? The role of PI is to make sure that when we're speaking about NA as a whole, or we're speaking about greater San Jose area as a whole, that a clear NA message is communicated to the public. We get a lot of demands for information from government agencies like correctional authorities, to professional organizations, to religious organizations, to various and sundry other governmental organizations. And I personally like it because I get to be part of a subcommittee that helps bring a message of recovery to suffering addicts, you know, and be sort of the public-facing voice of Narcotics Anonymous program. You can get a lot more information about this from our IP number 15, PI and the NA member. So how do we work together? How does H&I and PI work together? We deal a lot in making the initial approach to governmental or correctional facilities. To the right, you'll see a photo of a very, very prominent man. Many of you may know him. That's our own Judge Manley. Judge Manley was a very enlightened member of our court system who pioneered treatment as an alternative to incarceration, and we're very, very thankful to him. Drug courts have made a huge impact in changing treatment modalities, and we're very, very delighted to be part of that. Again, PI's activities, we're sort of based outside the fellowship in helping people understand who we are and what we do as a fellowship. We also do speaker panels. I've done quite a number of them at high schools. Resource fairs out in the community. And it's just a great way to get out and meet people and help them understand that we're not just a bunch of beat down, broken, old, screwed up addicts, that we're people actively engaged in recovery, and that we'd like to share our message to those that could gain benefit from exposure to NA meetings. One of the things that we stress is that NA And whether you're serving in PI, H&I, or anywhere in NA, it's not about an individual. We're an anonymous program. We're a we program. You know, our spiritual foundation of anonymity guides our service in NA. That's why we don't give our last names and we don't appear in media as members of Narcotics Anonymous. A great place to get, again, to get further information on that is our IP number 15. We find that if we remain anonymous, it helps us avoid self-promotion. We don't want to become media stars. I really feel sorry for any celebrity who's involved in recovery, because there's a temptation to make it about them rather than about the program, and that's kind of the opposite of what we really strive for. All right, guys. The takeaways from our time together today is, hey, this is a we program, not an I program. I'm honored to work both with PI and H&I because the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel. It's been proven in the lives of thousands, hundreds of thousands of addicts. We can do together what we cannot do alone. Our recovery depends on NA unity. We can't be squabbling among ourselves. We've got to keep that in focus. And for anybody on the line today who's not currently serving NA in one form or another, we'd invite you, check out an H&I meeting. There are commitments that require clearance, but there are a lot of commitments that don't require a clearance. For example, working the steps with inmates. My own experience has proven to me that there are very, very few things that I do in life that are as rewarding as my service in NA. I'm pleased and honored to be a member of the greater San Jose area of Narcotics Anonymous. Thank you so much for your time and attention.